And then he sat like 2 seats away from me. I was like, oh my God, if we both would have sat one seat the other way, we would be next to each other, which is crazy. You could say that about anything. If things were different, they would be different.
Manic Pixie Jump Scare. Hosted by Quinn Murphy
and Becca Hobart.
Hi.
We're Quinn.
And we're Becca.
And welcome to Manic Pixie Jump Scare, a podcast where Becca and I talk openly about our shared delusions,
passions, and love for each other. Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
Yes, I am. I am at the Airbnb. I rented it out for $5 million. And, you know, I'm having the time of my life here. So what can I say?
Yeah. And while Becca's in that Airbnb in Malibu, I am actually, guys, I know I said I was done traveling for a while, but then I just got the most exciting opportunity to go to China. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, for professional development.
For a brand trip. The lovely brand Shein invited me to go to China and you know, see their working conditions, get to know their brand a little bit better, and let's just say, don't believe everything you read.
Oh wow. Yeah, we cannot be into two more opposite places, I believe.
Yeah, unfortunately, me and Becca can't be together live this week as we are every other week we do this podcast. But
right. But in a way, we're in both capitalistic nightmarish hellscapes, you could say.
Yeah. Well,
in some sort of form.
I would say Shein isn't like that though. I think that's what makes Shein a lot different from other brands out there. Because all the people I talked to were completely happy with their jobs.
Smiling,
happy,
not saying
laughing
anything,
even. Not saying
just
anything.
laughing and smiling.
Yeah,
actually
speaking when I spoke to them, which is something I enjoy personally, because you know when too many people are talking at once, I get like a little bit like, ugh. But
yeah, it's overwhelming.
It's nice because they were kind of just like they were kind of looking like this, like
yeah.
Yeah,
with no fear in their eyes or hearts, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, and they're doing this fun line right now. It's called like the Help Me line, I think is what it's called. I don't know what.
Oh, okay.
But like they're just writing help on everything.
Oh, nice.
And so
that's so funny. That's just in time for summer.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, help me party, help me. You know, I
go out and be a Barbie.
Yeah, come on Barbie, let's go help. Exactly.
Soon enough it's gonna be on the shirts. I can't.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the final designs. I'm excited to style them along with you guys. And again, thank you so much, Shein, for flying me all the way out to China.
Yeah.
I love it here.
I'm really happy for my friend Quinn. Well, Quinn, I mean, other than like your brand trip and all that you have going on again professionally, what else have you kind of like been up to before your trip, I guess, this
week? I have been working, and working is the fucking fool. Let's talk about it because I'm tired of it. I'm already tired of it. I'm done. I'm done working. Why do I have to labor? Why do I shower? Why do I bath? Because it's a trend. Why do I work? Because it's a trend.
Yeah. Why do I shower? Why do I bath?
So, honestly, and honestly, I'm getting the winery. She's a slay. I like my job there.
Lovely.
I started my new job this week. I've been in training for that. Girl.
Oh no, I thought this was going to be the more exciting one.
No, this one has been maybe when I actually get to like be with children and stuff, but this one is just a skosh of a struggle so far because first of all, I am a fucking geriatric person because I am, let's say with me now, 22 years old. And who I pull up and I'm sitting at a table with like 16, 17-year-olds going into their like junior and senior years of high school.
Whoa.
Who are like the counselors. And I'm like, oh, hi. And they're like, hi, old, hi, bald. Like,
how could they let this happen?
I know. No, one time they were like, "Oh, what year?" They were randomly talking about like, "Oh, what year would you go back to?" And this one girl was like, "Oh, I would go back to 2015." And then they were like, "Oh," and they were like, "Oh, you would go back to the fourth grade?" And I said,
Shut
"No,
up. No, that's not
no,
possible.
yeah, it actually is. It actually so is."
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Oh.
2015 when you and I were both fully in high school.
Oh my God. Ugh.
So
I'm becoming nauseous. I'm becoming nauseous at the idea of it.
So yeah, that's one of the struggles I'm having. Another one of the struggles I'm having is, and Becca, let me know if you relate to this at all, but sometimes when I'm placed in certain scenarios, I do realize how stupid other people can be. I can't put it more nice than that.
I know. I
Like,
know. It's so exhausting.
it's truly crazy sometimes. Also, the way in which people do not listen. Like,
Your colleagues are being bad?
yes, I am astounded by like
Wow.
how much people have to ask questions that were already answered if they had just been listening.
Oh, girl. No, girl. Listen, this has been my orientation week for school,
Uh-huh.
and people are like, "How do I get into my email, my school email?"
Mm-hmm.
Which they could not have said and sent in writing more times. There are so many instructions on how to do that, actually, and people are
No.
still confused.
Oh my God. And it's like, I'm embarrassed. Like something happened recently where I asked where something was and it was like so obvious where it was. And I was so embarrassed about it for like, I was like, oh, I can't find this. And the person was like, oh, you mean right there? And I'm like, fuck. Like I hate
Fuck
doing shit
me.
like that. Some
Yeah,
people, that's literally every task. It's
they
like you have
feed
to
off of
explain
it.
them to it like yes, like they must. Like,
Like, girl, how'd you get here this point in life? Like, how
yes,
are we on the same level right
no, how are
now?
you breathing? How are you converting oxygen into carbon dioxide?
Yeah.
And like
Without
how,
asking how to do it.
yeah, like I
Excuse me, how do I breathe?
literally,
Yeah.
and not even like, oh my gosh, it's hard out here. It's
Yeah.
hard out here sometimes.
But doesn't it make you
Um,
feel better, a little bit better? Because you're like, if they can actually do this, I can totally do
oh,
this.
1000%. And it just means I'm like sometimes sometimes I do feel like, oh, like sometimes I'm not smart, I'm not, this, that. And I'm like, girl, I am.
Actually, I'm completely fine.
Yeah, I'm actually completely fine. Like if some of these people are the people I'm like my colleagues and contemporary, like I'm gonna be
Hmm.
good. Um,
We're gonna get through this.
so yeah. So winery's fine. That job, it actually was better today. Yesterday I was like, oh my God. Because we're like training, but like nobody pays attention and like the supervisor didn't really care about our training. I don't know. It was like I don't want to talk too much shit about it because
Hmm.
let's just say MPJ has been at the center of investigations around
Oh yeah.
employment. And
Oh, you
guys,
better believe it.
I know I joked about being in China at the top of this, so you don't really know what to trust, but like we are
It
not
actually
joke.
has.
That's legitimately not a joke. Like
It actually has happened. Maybe one day we can talk about it, actually.
which BTW guys, I know we post this on the internet. That doesn't mean you get to talk about it. Like
How
unless it's
dare you?
positive and you don't get to use it as a weapon. And if you are
No,
weaponizing this podcast, if you are weaponizing our creative energy, you are a loser and you need to not listen to this anymore.
you need to get a hobby for sure.
You need to find things to fill your time. You need to fill times with things you like instead of things you don't like and see how that changes your life around, Mary, because
Yep.
right now you're miserable
Yeah.
and you need to be dealt with.
It's so true. I can't
Like
believe it's real.
you're weird. You're weird if you're
You're a
listening to a
weirdo.
podcast with sub 20 weekly listeners and you are sending it above people's heads. Like you are
You're a
fucking
freak.
weird.
You're a
Sorry.
freak.
I guess we had to start with
Thank
that.
you, Quinn. Yeah. Thank you for clearing the air on that.
I guess we had to start with that. We'll have a tell
Okay, so
all
now
about
that
that eventually. But okay.
housekeeping.
Now that we've trashed 3 out of the 4 jobs we hold collectively, we have to go for the
Cheers.
fourth one, which is of course my dog sitting. And
Mm,
guys, I have about had it with dog sitting. I'm taking myself out of the industry actually.
Wow.
And so I'm going to tell you 2 stories over the course of this podcast, one now, one later. So, as we all know, it was Becca's birthday Friday.
Yeah.
And I will reveal next week on the podcast something I did on Becca's birthday that Becca knows about that was iconic. But we must wait because the iconic thing is not here yet for evidence.
Of course.
However, the day took such a weird turn. We were all so happy that day.
It's actually, it was the day of all days.
It was actually crazy to see how things would be cut. I forget the quote, but what's her name? Kyle something from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Crazy. Yeah, I don't remember.
You're also happy that day. So I've been on, I'm gonna say it, Rover. Because honestly, I don't want to work with this brand ever in the future. I don't care. I probably don't really want to work with any brands in the future, but especially this one can kick fucking rocks because what I'm about to say. So Rover is like it's like Sadie Hawkins dance. Like the pet parents ask you.
Yeah.
Or maybe like a regular dance, and WAG is more like Sadie Hawkins. But anyway. I get this message from this lady a couple weeks back, and she's like, "Oh, can you sit my 2 dogs?" And I was like, "Oh yeah," and especially because it was gonna be like $700 after Rover took their cut for the job, and I was like, "Oh, work and serve. Let me consider that." And she's like, "Okay, well my dogs are a little bit of a handful, so we should definitely do like a meeting beforehand." And I was like, "Okay, work." And so Friday's the day I go to her house, and it's like a row home, so it's like attached to some other houses. And I like see her puppies through, well, dogs. They're because I have taken care of 12-week-old puppies, 2 of them before.
Right.
But these are adult dogs. I see them, and so I go up to the door, and she's like waving me in. And so I open the door. One of the dogs is a golden retriever. My man takes off for the hills.
No, immediately?
Yes, immediately. Immediately he's taken off.
Oh, little guy.
Yes.
Big guy.
And so the woman is like screaming at this point, like yelling, and like she's like, "Oh no, this is the worst case scenario. Come on, let's get in my car and go find him." And guys, you might think like, "Oh, Quinn, you have a podcast. Like you're outgoing, you're talkative." Guys, I have like weird social anxiety where I feel like every person I've talked to about this was like, "You should have just left. You should have just gotten in your car and left." But no, I got in her car instead and was like, "Okay, I guess I'm gonna help her find her dog."
Oh my God, the way she said this is the worst case scenario.
She said that multiple times. Actually.
She thought in her head that there's a million different ways this can go. And this right now is the worst one.
Life could be worse. No, it can't.
No,
this is the worst.
No, it can't. Get in my car.
Exactly. Jump in my ride. Beep, beep.
Beep, beep.
So then she opens up her phone. She's like trying to turn on the car and trying to look at her phone because the dog has a GPS tracker, because this isn't the first time he's run. In fact, she lives off a major road, and the dog has run onto the major road before and stopped traffic both ways, apparently.
Both ways.
Both of them. And so
he jumped over the fucking meters.
MacGyver, Houdini of dogs, of golden retrievers. Love him, honestly. And so so she's like, look, and of course the dog that's in the house is coming up on the GPS and that dog isn't. So she's like, "Oh my God, what?" And it's like, and I'm just like in her car, and she's like, "You can navigate." And so I'm holding her phone.
Oh my God. And you just met her.
Literally. Oh, she like, yeah, no, yes, exactly.
We don't know her.
And so like in the thing, she was like, "Oh, my name's," but she says, "Oh, my name is Bleep, by the way."
Blink. Yeah.
And anyway, as if isn't a common name. Anyway, so we're in the car, and she's like checking all the spots, being like, "Oh, he's not there. It's raining at this point, because it's been raining in my area for the past 4 months, it feels like.
Yeah.
And so we're driving along, and then we see the dog, and so she starts honking, and the dog gets back in the car, and she's like, "I like you're excited to see him." And I was like, "Oh," And so again, golden retriever, 60 to 70 pounds, doesn't get in the backseat of the car because why would a dog do that? No. Instead, he sits on my lap in the passenger seat, like standing on my lap, like
And she was
wet
like, I want,
dog.
yeah. Oh
Yeah, and
God.
like she was never like, oh, get in the back seat. She was, and I think it might have been because she had just gotten her car detailed, and so she was like talking about that. She was like, oh, I just got this car detailed. Now the wet dog's in it. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I don't think your dog is doing much damage to the car actually, because he's actually
Sitting on
just
me.
getting his wet fur on my jeans and my Carly Rae Jepsen t-shirt. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
Taking the brunt of
so then
that.
so then we drive back, and this woman was giving me outs. I have to give her credit for something, and that she was giving me outs. Like she asked me if I wanted to stay, but again, guys, I don't know like how to say. I don't know how to. I don't know how to do that. Like
You didn't, yeah.
yeah, no, that's not me. And so I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, like let me stay for a second. Let me hear her out.
You're an
And
optimist. You're an optimist.
yeah,
You're giving her the
Sagittarius, you know,
benefit of
I'm
the
an
doubt.
optimist
Yeah.
actually. And so then she's explaining to me like all her dogs like things and all the medication she gives them and stuff. And so I also have to disclose that she is a Disney adult.
Oh, okay. That does
Yeah.
change things in my
So,
perspective.
and
I get
she's
a
a
fuller
Disney adult,
picture.
and I think there's a strong correlation between Disney adults and hoarders.
Yes, yeah, I think
Because this
so.
woman's house
They
was
collect all
like
their knickknacks.
all like the house was like rejecting shit and about to, it felt like it was about to spit at me like a
Well, you know what? I've just
plushie or a
actually
Funko
created
Pop. Like,
a psychological comparison because Disney adults are so like nostalgic, they
uh-huh.
can't get rid of things.
Oh yeah.
Also, which is also why they love Disney because it's
Yeah.
nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Okay, science proven, done.
Science, okay. A new
Hit
study
the
by Becca
papers.
Hobart
Yeah,
and Quinn Murphy.
I did my investigation.
We've looked for evidence, this lady.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, I'm taking in her home. Like she's explaining to me at the dog stuff, and I'm like taking in her home. And she just asked me, do you have ADHD?
Oh.
And I go, no. And she was like, oh, because your eyes are darting around. I asked because I have it too. And I'm literally my favorite quote from Dance Mom. Oh, just got diagnosed. Like that one random lady says after she calls her, I don't deal with the dissociative identity disorder in my practice.
Oh, just got
Oh,
diagnosed.
just got diagnosed. Anyway, so what else happens? Oh, and then she's like, oh, well, I'm actually going on this trip because I'm going to visit my parents in Hawaii where they live. And
Okay.
I must have shown some kind of like, oh, Hawaii, because you know that's a fun place for your parents to live. Not for this woman. Not for this woman. She
Oh.
goes, oh, it's not fun for me. I have a panic disorder and I'm on the spectrum. So, and my parents are kind of mean to me. So, it's not a fun. And so I'm like, so these are three things I didn't really need to know about you.
Yeah. We didn't need to get that deep.
Yeah, no. And so yeah. And she would eventually reveal to me that it was in fact 50 years old, and that the way that her parents actually got her to agree to come out to Hawaii is if they all stayed at the Disney resort on it's either Maui or Oahu.
Oh my God.
Like,
Wait, she's 50?
yes,
Oh. So
50
her
years old.
80-year-old parents are gonna go stay at the Disney resort for their
have to
daughter
leave their island and go to another island to go
island
to the Disney resort.
so that their daughter will see them.
Yes, literally.
Jesus God.
Their 50-year-old daughter who, like, you know, usually when it's my understanding that as your parents get older, you like to spend more time with them because you realize, oh, we don't have that much time left
Yeah,
together.
time is fleeting,
Yes, yeah.
etc.
But this woman, no.
No, she couldn't care less, actually.
So, anyway, she is, and I forget how we get. So, she explains to me a couple more things, and one of her dogs' name was Stitch. And so I was
Sweet.
like, and actually Lilo and Stitch is one of the few Disney movies I have seen.
Okay, good.
And it's actually one of the ones I like actually really enjoy. I think because I remember coming home from kindergarten because we had half days and the Lilo and Stitch TV show would always be on. So I have like a connection to Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch and Aladdin are like the only two Disney movies I actually remember like watching. And so I like recognized like Stitch was one of the names, And then her other dog was named Maximilian, which is a reference, she tells me, is a reference to Tangled. And I was like, oh, I've never seen Tangled. This woman does a full gasp, like literally that, and was
nearly
like,
passes out.
literally, I begin to pass out, and my head hit
Whoa.
the floor
My head
because
hit,
I have not seen the movie Tangled, which came out. Let me see when the
10,
movie
9 or
Tangled.
10, 12
Yes,
years ago.
Tangled. Yeah, which came out in 2010. Okay, so I was 10 when it came out. So like I wasn't too out of the demographic, but still. I just haven't seen it. But she was like dead ass like legitimately upset that I haven't seen this movie.
Oh my God, girl.
And I was like, okay. And she's like, and then and the guys, this is where the kicker starts to get in. Like if you thought this story, if you thought this story was a little crazy before,
Oh
it's about to
no.
take another turn.
Blank.
So um she's like, oh yeah, and they're making a live action of Tangled. Um and she was like, I just wish they would stop with all that. And I was like, oh, I get that, like I didn't
Oh
say this out loud to
no.
her, but in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, there's no new ideas and like all this stuff. Like, let's write some new stories instead of just recycling all the old ones.
Oh no, 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 no. Oh
But then
no, no,
she
no, no,
goes,
no. No.
yeah, I don't really know why we need a black Ariel.
Oh.
And
I hate that. I hate when that happens when
oh,
you
oh
agree
wait,
with a
oh wait.
stranger.
But wait,
Oh
there's
wait.
more. But wait, there's more.
How could
She goes, they can have a black Ariel when Disney gives us a white Tiana. Do you think that's gonna happen anytime soon?
what the fuck kind of take is that?
As if there is some type of dearth of lily white princesses
Yeah.
within the Disney canon, not even taking into account the larger canon of just princess tales. I'm
Yeah.
gonna venture to say 85 to 90%, if not into 95% or even higher,
Yeah.
are white princesses.
Yeah.
Like
Girl.
she's acting like, oh my god. And like,
Girl.
yeah, so then I'm like, okay, I need to get the fuck out of this house. Like,
That was, ma'am,
for
that was
some
your
reason,
last straw.
and this is, guys, this is also another place where my mind is working weirdly. Like the dog running out didn't freak me out as much as like the weird racist like
Yeah, thing that
feelings
happened
about
inside
Disney
the.
movies.
Yeah.
Um, and so anyway, but it doesn't even stop there because then she was talking about like apparently she spends every Christmas at Disney. And she was like, yeah, Disney also has like Black Santa now when you go at Christmas. And she's like,
And she's fucking pissed.
she goes,
Oh
she
my
goes, yeah, they like
God.
alternate with White Santa, but we all know who the real one is.
What the
The real one when talking about fucking Santa Claus as a 50-year-old woman.
Wait, do you think she believes still?
Girl, I don't know. I don't know. I was in the
She's
fucking
on the spectrum.
upside
She has
down with this one.
ADHD.
Literally.
What if her parents send her Santa gifts still?
Oh my God. That would be I wouldn't not
Uh,
believe it. Based off the hour I spent with this woman, I would not believe that that was the truth, the
wow.
gospel truth, actually.
So these are the type
Um,
of freaks that live in Delaware.
she doesn't even live in Delaware. No, she lives in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania.
Oh my God, you drove all that way.
A whole 15 minutes. Yeah,
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked.
Um, closer than the winery to where I live. Closer than my other job to
Oh,
where I live too. Anyway.
oh,
Um,
geez.
and so yeah. And then at the end, she told me that she did the calculations and that she spent 47% of her income on Disney.
Uh, You're supposed to spend like 20 to 30% of your income on
On
rent,
housing, yeah.
and she spent half her income on Disney.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And she just goes alone, I'm sure.
No, she has a friend apparently. She says she had like she talked about a best friend.
Okay.
Um yeah, because it didn't seem like anybody else lived in the house with her other than the dogs.
Gotcha.
Um
Oh
But
my Jesus Christ.
yeah, so that was my Friday. That was what
Wow.
happened with the dog sitting. And so and guys, I don't know if it's fucked up of me. Like I am fucked up, and I think it's because I'm in like this hustle mindset right now. But I was still like contemplating. I was like, well, do I take this job? Like it's a lot of
I
money.
mean, yeah.
A lot of money on the
Did
table.
you?
No, because then I did
Oh.
the calculations, and it was only going to be like $60 a day for two dogs. Like
Mm,
after I did like after I took like Rover's cut and stuff,
gotcha.
20%. Fuck you guys.
Yeah,
Um
boo.
and yeah. She also asked me about like insurance, like because I assume it was because her dog and I was like, I'm not, no, I don't. And she was like, oh, there's like insurance through Rover and stuff. And I was like, what?
What
No.
is going on? Yeah.
No, I'm not getting insured. I believe insurance is a scam as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Getting insurance for your fucking dogs? What?
That is weird.
You're gonna sue me if your poorly trained dog runs out of the
Runs
house
away
under my
again.
care? No. No, I'm not opening myself
Uh-uh.
up to that. Like,
Yeah.
anyway. So, one thing about it though that was interesting is that her one dog really liked me, and she was like, "Oh, that one is like." She stopped our conversation multiple times to be like, "This is not normal. Like, he usually doesn't warm up to people like this."
Aw.
Um, and so I did like Mr. Stitch, but my mom was like, "No, she was just trying to lure you in."
Could be.
Could be. I would believe anything about this woman after
Right.
you could tell me
Anything's
literally anything
possible.
about her.
She used
Um,
to work at NASA.
literally. But so that was what
Wow,
I
that's
was doing on
crazy.
Becca's birthday.
Oh my God.
I don't know what kind of magic was in the air, but I got a weird form of it.
Yeah. June 23rd, something crazy is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't always have to be good.
Irregardless of the fact, something crazy is gonna happen.
Yeah, irregardlessly.
Um, and so guys, I have another story to tell about dog sitting later in the broadcast, but
Oh my God, these dogs. They're gonna make you go crazy.
I'm so fucking over it. I'm so fucking over it because I don't like other people's dogs. That's the realization I've come to this summer. I don't give a fuck about your dogs.
Oh,
Like
dang.
I like dogs and stuff. I like my dogs.
Sure. That makes sense.
Buddy is the most perfect dog ever. I love him like more than most things in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Buster's also great. Um,
Sure.
and Chunk, next time I see him, I'm sure we'll kiki and have a good time.
Yeah.
Those are like the three dogs I care about right now. And like,
Mm-hmm.
if your
Everyone
dog's
else is
being a
just
fucking
messing up
ass,
your
if your dog's being a
vibe.
fucking asshole, like if your dog's gonna be nice and well behaved, great.
Sure.
If your dog's gonna be a fucking asshole, I don't care. If your dog's gonna eat
Yeah.
the poop of its brother and like its own poop if I don't pick it up directly after it's like fresh from the tap, I don't care. Like I can't,
Ew. Yeah.
I have to stop caring. Like
We must. We
literally.
must.
And I just don't like I feel like when people are like I feel like when people say, "Oh, no one thinks your kid's that cute." It's like, "No, no one thinks your dog's that cute." Like
That could
so
definitely be said about Teddy and all
yeah,
his
no,
issues.
I'm looking to get out of the industry so quick.
Yeah.
Um
Okay. Okay. I gotcha.
expeditiously I'm looking to get out of the industry. With that being said, I do have another dog sitting job going on literally right now.
Okay.
That I started
Hey,
today. So
you gotta, for now, you gotta hustle. And
I had
then,
some prior commitments, but girl, I'm tying my tubes. I'm not accepting any more clients. I'm
good for
accepting
you.
one more client, and that's if I don't get banned off Rover.
Right.
For something I did do
For
that I will
sending
explain
nudes.
later.
Oh, okay.
Sending nudes via Rover. That would be crazy.
Someone's done it. I know
Aren't you
someone
always doing
has.
that? Because dogs don't wear clothes.
Ooh, hey. Very creative thought.
Bitch, I'm back on
Very
my
creative
coma.
thought.
Exactly. But anyway, so yeah, that was me. Um, yeah. But
Sweet.
Becca, I will
Yeah.
now ask you, since that took up a long time, and you seemed to have had a very eventful birthday weekend.
Oh my God. Guys, me and Macy, like at least 30 times every day, looked at each other and we were like, are you kidding? Like, this can't be real. Honestly, so much happened that I
Mm-hmm.
can't even, I just have to pull out some like nice highlights for you.
The Cliff
Just know,
Notes.
yeah, absolutely. But I went to Wisconsin to visit
Mm-hmm.
Macy for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and me and Macy, like something does happen. We are definitely spiritually aligned people as well, like
Mm-hmm.
the kind of like the connection I have with Quinn.
Yeah.
Um, but it's also crazy because like we live together, so we have the bond. It's like a sister type thing, I guess, too.
Mm-hmm.
But we also are so similar, so it's like it's just a crazy thing. Like crazy things always happen with us. I will start with there was a cute guy on my flight. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
exciting. I almost took a photo of him and submitted it to Hot Guys Reading because I was like, this would be a great. As soon as I thought that in my brain, though, I should take a photo of him. I did see him stick his full hand down his pants to like readjust. And I
Oh.
was like, boys,
Ugh.
that they got gay.
There was a kid in my high school who would like always be like readjusting I was like, girl, what is going on down there?
Like we
And
don't,
why do
yeah,
you feel comfortable touching it in front of literally everyone else?
every
Like,
single person. Everyone can see you do that, people.
yeah, and like
Anyway,
it's not like we all know it's down. Like, why are you like
yeah,
just
yeah, it's
touching
not
your
mysterious.
junk in public, girl?
Yeah, it is a crazy thing to do.
What's going
But
on?
nevertheless, he was cute.
Mhm.
And then he sat like 2 seats away from me. I was like, oh my God, if we both would have sat one seat the other way, we would be next to each other, which is crazy. You could say that about anything. If things were different, they would be
That's
different.
isn't that crazy?
It's not crazy. Like if so many things were different, it would be different. But anywho, but he was still close to me.
If two things had, if three things have been different.
My mind, the way it works.
On her
Anyway,
mind.
love her mind. And then basically then it was my birthday. I arrived in Wisconsin. I went to work with Macy at her big tech company that looks actually a lot like the Barbie Dream House. And like 30 of them because there's like a big campus of buildings that are crazy.
I want to go out to
But
Wisconsin and investigate this so bad. Like I need to
you
see
would
it, I feel
you would be
like.
so thrilled by it. We went down the slides again. My
The
coochie was
slides.
out. Macy
My
spilled water at the
coach,
bottom of the
yeah.
slide, and I went into the slide water. Anywho, and then I was like, Macy, after work we have to go get my Starbucks reward. So she was like, yeah. So I took us to a random Starbucks, like clicked one on the map. Turns out it was actually in a Target. Oopsie. But we were like, oh, we need alcohol anyway. We should go into the Target.
I want to go to a Starbucks and a Target with her so bad.
So bad.
Can you not
Like
use rewards at the one in Target? No,
you
right?
can.
Oh, you
So we
can?
did it. Yeah.
For
So we were pulling into the parking lot, and who is fucking walking into the Target but the guy from the plane?
blank stare.
Are you kidding? I was like, I screamed. I was like, Macy, that's him. It's the guy from the
Mm-hmm.
plane. And she
Mm-hmm.
started dry heaving, obviously. And we started screaming and yelling, what's going on? What's going on? Why us? Why us?
And
We
he's
were
just like,
so scared. Well, this was all in the car. And Macy was like, wait, should we actually go in? And I was like, yeah. And then we did. And I got my Starbucks. And then we saw him like a few more times in there. And he like clearly recognized me.
of
And I was like,
course.
wow, that's just so crazy. Like, oh my God. I didn't end up saying anything to him because he was actually standing up. He was shorter than sitting down, believe it or not.
Mm.
Well, wait. He looked shorter,
Yeah, a
pardon
little
me.
booster. Okay.
Yeah.
Work.
So we were probably the same height. And to me, I was like, I don't know if I'm like ready for all that.
On my birthday weekend now, yeah.
Yeah, no, I have to go for something taller on my birthday. It's
Yeah.
my birthday.
It's my birthday.
Yeah. And then obviously we went out on my birthday night and it was absolute insanity. And guys, I did things I've never done before, but I will do them again.
I hope to. If I'm
There
given
was
the opportunity, I would 1,000% do them again.
I would definitely do it again. Um, let's just say I'm shocked that we weren't kicked out of the place we were at and that I chose to leave instead.
Of your own
But also,
volition.
I get everything I've ever wanted, and I've always said this. I'm a master manifester, and I will never be. The Lord will never turn me away. I'm a child of Him. So
Doesn't matter
yeah,
if you love him or capital HIM.
yeah. The Lord's gonna, yeah. And then obviously we went to bed that night. I snuck into Macy's bed like always. And
Snuck. Waited for her.
She was passed out drunk. We had to put her to bed first. Anyway. And then so her being put to bed meant that the cat was in the room, Cleo.
Miss Cleo.
I love Miss Cleo so much.
She seems like a fun girl.
No, she's just
she's
like
kind
a
of an
dog, but she's a
auxiliary
soft cat.
She's one of our auxiliary members of the book club.
I think so too. Yeah.
But she's always running around.
Right. She's always running. Yeah. She's like always amok. She wants to be held and petted, and she wants to have fun at the end of the day. And she doesn't care about things. She's so chill. Like you could literally fling her around. She'd be like, girl. Yeah.
That was fun. Let's do it again.
Yeah, it was fun. That being said, overnight she did. Okay, we woke up. I woke up to Macy chuckling in my ear because she woke up just thinking about the night before. And then a man in the living room sneezed really loud. Okay, and then Macy was like, "What is this in the bed?" And I was like, "Oh, that's part of this." Okay, one of Macy's friends in Wisconsin has diabetes too. Nice. As well, I should say.
Sisters.
And I was like, "Oh, it's part of her like insulin tube because she had to change it last night. I remember." And then she was like, "Are you sure? Why is it in the bed?" I was like, "I don't know." And then I looked and Cleo had fully eaten apart my insulin tube overnight. Love her. She wanted to have fun, guys.
Leah said, y'all don't need that.
Y'all don't need that, right?
Leah said, Becca, you're 23 now. You don't need insulin anymore. Grow up.
That's crazy. It's your golden year. Yeah. So I had to change that in the morning then. And then
you got another one. Did you have to like get one or?
No, I had extra. I brought extra. I always bring extra. Yeah,
great.
Of course, because things like that happen. You never know. So yeah, I did that really quick. And then her work had like a picnic thing we went to. That was fun. And then me and Macy made t-shirts like all the girlies do. Macy said, I can make him worse. And mine said, on the front, I like boys, and on the back, and girls. And as soon as we left the house in the t-shirts, we got complimented by a bunch of people in the street. And we were like, well, thank you so much.
Were they like screen printed or were they just like marker?
No, like we ironed on letters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're craftsmen. So that was great fun. And then that night oh my God. Guys, sometimes when it storms, you have to have fun in your own house and you have to invite all your friends over. And then when the storm is over, you have to go skinny dipping in a lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Yeah, you do.
So we did just that. Guys, I threw my clothes off. As soon as I jump in the lake, boom, Fitbit gone forever. And you may be thinking, what's that on your wrist? Well, it's the new one that just arrived via Amazon.
Damn, you had to get another one so expeditiously?
I can't help that Amazon has fast shipping.
You love that girl.
My Fitbit?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's been 4 days.
Juxtapose that to when my Apple Watch broke and I was like, thank God, this is a new chapter for me.
No, I like my Fitbit. I don't get any notifications on my Fitbit. It's literally just my steps and stuff. Because I'm always so curious. And mostly, I always want to know how long I slept last night. Because I'm like trying to get better at that, sleeping.
Yeah, I'm like, ignorance is bliss on that one.
Yeah, no, I gorts to know.
And sometimes I wonder how much like tracking sleep like just makes you believe things about your sleep that like maybe true or may or not be true.
Right, because we truly never know. That's the thing. Like every Fitbit like measurer has like an asterisk that's like this could be wrong. This could be really, really wrong.
Hey, you're just having fun here.
Yeah, this isn't serious. You know.
Yeah, just we're ballparking it.
Just hanging about.
Anyways, Becca and I have been talking for a long time already, so
I know.
Anything else we need to throw in the ring or?
Good for now.
Good for now. So we're gonna throw it to a little break. We'll be right back to discuss this week's topics. Or no, yeah, this week's topic. This week's topic.
Guys, I'm scared.
Oh, sorry. Didn't see you there. I was just reading.
That was Ken. He's in the cage.
What?
Anyway.
Anyway, yeah, so we're back. And this week, Becca and I want to talk about the joy of reading.
Ugh. Guys, I
Just because
love it.
literally I finished a book for the first time in like 2 months this week, and I was like, what if we did an episode on reading?
On that feeling, on that
On that,
euphoria.
it's more than a feeling.
My feeling.
But
Anyway.
so yeah, we're gonna talk about reading a little bit for this week.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Becca, I know you to be someone who knows how to read against all
Yeah,
odds.
it's true.
I don't know why this like came into my head. But like, do you remember when you learned how to read? Like,
Such a weird question. When did you learn to read? I mean, like kindergarten. I think
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like I remember learning the letters and such, and then I feel like in first grade, like I could just do it.
yeah, I have a similar memory. Like, because I feel like people are like, oh, because like I was a relatively like I was a good student. I'm like a
Mm-hmm.
good reader, all that stuff. But like, I really liked reading as a kid, and I really much enjoy reading as an adult. And I write a lot, and so I feel like people would be like, "Oh, I bet you were reading books at like 3 or whatever." But like, no, girl.
No,
I
normal.
literally have no memory of reading before I got to kindergarten.
Yeah, I'm sure I just looked at picture books. But
Yeah.
then like I don't know, I remember having like little like definitely in second grade I remember reading in my bed with my nightlight,
Mm-hmm.
like little stories and stuff,
Yeah, no,
like the mystery stories.
yeah, I definitely remember reading in kindergarten because that's when we got the reading fingers, those little cunty
Mm.
fingers with the nails on them.
Oh, lovely.
One of the things that made me realize I was gay, like those little fingers, because I
Some
loved
that
wearing them
awakened
so
something in you.
much. That created a little bit of a monster in me because I was like pointing to the words and I was like, I am cunt right now.
Yep. Yeah.
Is 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 the word cunt in this young reader's book because that's how I'm feeling.
Please.
Please. But yeah, so I just remember like loving that, and maybe that's why I really love reading now because I feel like I'm like connecting to that witch's little like thing, like
I did love those things.
my little pointer finger. Or do you ever have those ones that were like the long little rod, and then at the end it had like it looked like a
The
Mickey
mini
Mouse hand
hand.
almost? Yeah.
Yeah. Those are fun as well.
Those were always good time as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did go through a phase where like I always had a book with me as a kid. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
because Vic and I were not the iPad generation.
No, we weren't.
We were
Not
not like
yet.
these kids.
I was on those damn phones.
Always on those damn tablets. Always walking that damn Cocoa Mountain. We were reading books. We were reading books.
Yep, yep, yep.
And so I
We were.
always had a little book with me. And like when I went to school, my mom jokes that like I would carry around the whole library with me because like I had my little messenger bag and I would bring so many books to school.
That's so cute.
And I still have that issue when I'm like going on a trip. I'm like, oh, I'm bringing 30 books in case
Five
I
books,
finish
yeah.
them, and I read 5 pages.
None. Yeah. None of them, actually. But what
Haven't
if
finished
this
a
was the
book.
one?
Yeah, haven't finished a book in 2 months. Meanwhile, in that time, I have acquired at least 10 to 15 books.
It's so easy and fun to buy books,
No,
guys.
literally, and when you find a good deal on a book, like I went to a used books sale at the library the other day. I got 6 books for five, or I got 5 books for $6.
What a steal. Come on.
Steal. And
It's like
then
free
like
pages.
there's a little shop in my town that has like $1 books out, and I'm like, oh, let me get
Holy
that.
shit.
Um, but guys, yeah, it's so easy. And then even sometimes I'm like, let me buy these books MSRP. It just gives me that rush.
Goes crazy.
And so, but yeah, so that was I was interested to learn because I was like, do
Hmm.
people learn how to read earlier than kindergarten?
No, for sure
But
not.
yeah. So do you remember like the kinds of books you like to read when you were a kid?
Oh yeah. Well, I did. I had these like girl mystery books.
Mm-hmm.
I read like some, I forget what they were exactly called, but like the babysitter books or something like
The
that.
Babysitter Club?
No, it was something different because I also read that later.
Mm.
But it was something more childlike. And then famously, I read all of Twilight in third grade and got in trouble for bringing it to
Crazy.
school. No, it was certainly a jump. Like I don't know how I comprehended it, but I did.
You like read them as an adult?
No,
Oh my God, you should do that. I bet that would be crazy for you.
that would be crazy. But I still need to read Midnight Sun, which is like Edward's perspective of Twilight.
Oh,
So I have that to work on.
I have that for my project.
Yeah.
And wow, I cannot believe you
Yeah.
read Twilight in the third grade.
It is crazy. Those are bit long ass books
Yeah,
mostly.
they're thick.
Yeah, for sure.
They
Lot
deal.
small words.
You were reading about Renesmee and
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I learned so many things.
that's
Well, that's why I
crazy.
got in trouble. Yeah.
They're like, girl, you gotta stop with this.
You gotta really calm down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was yeah, I didn't read anything that edgy.
What were you into?
I was into like the kind of mainstream stuff. Like I read Harry Potter. I
Mm,
had my Harry Potter phase, and now I'm like, it used to not be such a thing, Harry Potter, and now it's just like a thing you can't even enjoy without being like, you're either cringy or like it's like one, cringy to enjoy Harry Potter, and like two, it's like ethically kind of like weird
yeah.
because the author is such a piece of shit.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, she like creates this whole world, but then it's like, if you are born a certain way, you can't be this other thing. Like, girl, shut the fuck up. Anyway,
Yeah. You're weird
so
for that.
yeah, so it's like, I don't know, it's kind of a complicated relationship I have with that, but I also read Percy Jackson. I have this fantasy I'm going to reread them all this summer, but it's almost
Oh, I loved
July.
those
But
books.
because there's a new Percy Jackson book coming out in the fall, which I believe
I
I've talked
know.
about on this program before. I'm excited about that. And let's talk
And the
about
show.
icons. Let's talk about icons who aren't like transphobic pieces of trash and are like actually write books to like reflect kids and stuff. Rick Riordan, that man's holding it
Yeah,
down.
he did it.
He's writing like cool things for like queer children to like find themselves in, and like
We love it.
his works have actually progressed with the times, and he's not writing like transphobics like
Tweets.
shit, not even tweets, like full on books under like
Right.
pseudonyms that we all know. Like anyway,
Yeah.
but so let's appreciate that king.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Thanks, Rick.
also, yeah, we grew up in honestly one of the best times to be a child when the Hunger Games books were
I was going crazy. I was going stupid before the PSSAs.
literally
Just itching to finish those damn
no.
tests
Oh
so I
no,
can
and you
read
were
the
like
Hunger Games.
trying. No, and it was such a thing because everybody started reading them, and you were trying to be the first one to like.
Finish though.
Yeah, you were trying. You were like, oh, I need to figure this out before anyone else. I need to know the
Yeah.
secrets.
Yeah. Brrr. They
Literally.
are great books.
No, and I reread Hunger Games a couple years ago, and it was like they're honestly good books. Like I reread the first two. Mockingjay I didn't quite get to, but
Okay.
I read Hunger Games and I read Catching Fire. Girl,
She had,
she
yeah.
had so much to say. Like her pen was fire. Like
Why do you write like you're running out of
running out of
time?
time. She was
Suzanne Collins.
Suzanne Collins was cooking. She was cooking.
She was like,
Um,
damn.
she said, "I got shit to say," actually. And we're so glad she did because,
Hmm.
her mind so expansive,
Exactly.
cavernous. If we're gonna talk about cathedral mind, people just don't know shit about that when there's Suzanne Collins existing. And so it was also I read them like when Trump was still president, and I was like, this is crazy, actually. Like all this stuff, like
Right.
in the
Yeah.
least way of like a CNN liberal, I can sound like saying that. I'm like, this is a little like kind of crazy.
Genuinely. Yeah.
But yeah, I do want to read that new book that came out,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
movie's coming out
The
too.
movie. I should do
Um,
that. I should reread it all before the movie comes out. I don't think I'll have time. I'm actually going to drop that idea. I never had
yeah,
that
no,
idea. I'm not going to do it.
yeah, no. Have you ever reread something though, like that you read in childhood?
That's a good question. Oh, I recently reread The Westing Game just because I
Okay.
was like, oh, that was like my favorite one of my favorite books when I was younger.
I'm
I don't know if you're
unfamiliar.
familiar. It's like it's one of the greatest mystery books of all time. There is a movie of it, but it's like a B movie, like a TV movie. And I heard that there might be an HBO show.
Oh, that's the actual. That's
Yes.
the pinnacle form of how you can make something, actually, an
Oh, it's
HBO
gonna be great.
miniseries. An HBO
Literally.
limited series is the pinnacle of how you can make something.
It's gonna be
It goes HBO
fabulous.
limited series, HBO regular series,
Mm-hmm.
and then all the
I
others.
don't, yeah, all the others are combined. No, exactly. Like it's good. We should try and secure some jobs on that because it's gonna be crazy. It's
Uh,
like a
I don't.
mystery where this like guy who died is giving away all his money, and then these people like play this game that the will like has this game in it that they have to like play. Whoever wins gets the money.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but it's so
That sounds
entertaining.
cool.
Yeah, I recently reread that and I was just as excited and happy as when I was a kid.
I want to read. I always want to read mystery novels because, like, do you remember, like, I feel like in school the way it was structured is like we would do like different like we would explore different genres.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that happened in like your education? Like it would be like, oh, this year we do like mysteries or like
Mm, that didn't really happen in my school until like college where I was choosing my literature classes.
oh really?
And it was like, oh, we read gay books, we read scary books.
Gay books, scary books, all the
Boom, boom, boom.
but yeah, so I feel like we did that, and I remember like I forget what grade it was, maybe like third or fourth grade. We did like the mystery, and so we were reading like Encyclopedia Brown, and like
Mm,
I was trying to read Sherlock Holmes, but those were too advanced, and I was like, oh, I don't get
so
it.
exhausting. Yeah. It's tough to
But
get.
yeah, I do want to get into more mysteries, but like mysteries for adults, and I feel like because of like true crime, maybe they're all like crime, and I'm like, I don't need to be reading all that. I want to
Right.
read like a
What's that
fun
one?
mystery.
Yeah, me too. Like, what's that one guy who has it's James
James
Patter.
Patterson.
He has uh, thousands of books
I know.
and they seem like crime
Co-writes with like
books to
Bill
me.
Clinton.
Yeah, like what's happening here?
I've tried to read some of his books. He had like a series called like Witch and Wizard,
Okay. I haven't read any of
but
them.
I like and what other book of his did I try to read? I've like tried to read a couple of his books.
Mm,
But he do write a crazy amount of books. I'm like, how do you churn this much out?
yeah. It's a lot, sir.
Him and Miss
It's a lot.
Colleen. He was Colleen
Yeah.
Hoover. He was like the Colleen Hoover of like 2010 to 2015.
You're so right about that, actually. You are so right. Because now moms by the pool read him and not, or read her and not him.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Things have changed.
But yeah, so rereading. I do want to get more into like rereading. I have reread a couple things. I reread something last year. I reread A
What was
Separate
it?
Piece by John Knowles,
Okay. I've never
which I
read
read
that.
in my freshman year of high school.
Mm,
It's like a World War II. It takes place during like at a boarding school for boys in like World War II.
okay.
And it's about this relationship between these two boys, and it's like kind of gay.
Sweet.
It's very like queer coded, but
Mm,
like also not. It's interesting. And it was funny because
gotcha.
like everybody reads the book and is like, oh my God, are they gay? And like my it was funny because like my English teacher was like, no, they're not. And like he
All
like shut
right.
down that whole conversation before we even had it.
No, they're not.
And it's funny because I think the author also like came out and was like, oh, they're not gay. And I was like, girl, well, they seem pretty fucking gay.
I love when that happens in books and like that happened so many times in college. Are they gay? What if they're gay?
Whoa,
It's
that wouldn't happen.
like, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Let's
uh
not speculate.
but
Oh, let's do
yeah.
it.
And then obviously I had Perks of Being a Wallflower. I really love that book.
Yeah.
Still love that book. I reread that around the same time I reread The Hunger Games.
Damn.
And she holds up. She holds up, let me tell you.
I should reread that as well. But I don't want to be
Um,
sad.
yeah, it is a very sad book.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, the
Oof.
turn. Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but that was the perks of being a wallflower. But yeah, we had so much time to Oh wait, you have an interesting question here. How did mandatory reading in school shape or affect your relationship with reading?
Mm-hmm. I'm curious because I
I
know. Go ahead.
I Oh, do you mean like for classes and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. When we had independent reading time in elementary school, I was like, oh,
Oh
this is
yeah.
amazing. Love it.
Oh, I famously
Love it, believe
I
it.
did you have like AARP or is that not like a
AARP?
yeah.
No. I know
Like
what that
I-
is, but
you do?
it's for old people, Becca.
No, no. Okay, something different. I forget what it stands for, like something reading program,
Oh, okay.
but it was where you would like in middle school, you would read a book in your own time, and then you could go and you could take a quiz on the book, and then you get points for each book you read. And
Oh, okay.
and then all your points added up at the end of the year, and we had like a um not even a raffle, like a bidding war, like straight up a bidding war, and you could like if you had many points. This one kid read he always was carrying at least 12 books with him,
hmm
and he would take like 10 quizzes a day. Like he did all the books that the system had, and he won like an iPad, and
Oh
I
my
read
God, he's a
like
hustler.
one book a month, and I won like headphones and a t-shirt
hmm
because most middle schoolers actually read 0 books a year.
They said,
So
fuck this.
my 10 books was like insane.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, not the 100 books. Yeah.
But yeah, independent reading time was good. But no, I meant like, yeah, for classes.
Yeah, it definitely makes it feel like a little bit of like a chore.
Mm-hmm.
I would say in high school, I would say it's different because it's kind of different reading like a book versus reading a like an article or like something for class.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can just get like because I did a lot of reading of like articles in college, but I was never like I rarely read books.
Gotcha.
Because I wasn't in like the book type place. And
Yeah.
like usually they would just give you like a certain article to read and you would
Like
just
an
read that.
excerpt. Yeah.
Yeah. Which
I
I would have
actually
been
read
interested
so
to
many books.
I would have been actually interested to read like a proper like GSWS book like
Mm-hmm.
in college, like as a part of one of my classes. Like I think that would have been interesting. Like if we read like Gender Trouble or something by Judith
Right.
Butler. I would have been shocked by all the languages she's using, but
Yeah.
or like history of sexuality, like Foucault, or like something like that. Because
Mm-hmm.
like and maybe that's for a reason, because like when you do try to read stuff like that, you're like, oh
There's so much. Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would have been interesting. But I think maybe yeah, it does kind of like because when you don't have control over it, and it's just this thing you like have to do. It's kind of like compulsory, and like
Mm-hmm.
especially if you feel overwhelmed by it, I think you start to conflate, or at least I started to conflate maybe the overwhelm I had with like the amount I had to read, and actually conflating that with like overwhelm from reading,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
I do get what you mean.
So I think it probably did affect my relationship with books, but yeah, now I'm like, now it's nice because I don't have to read as much stuff like
Mm-hmm.
compulsory, and so I can actually like read for pleasure.
Right.
And it's also starts this thing where it's like, oh, why would I read for pressure and like neglect when I could be using my time to like read the stuff I have to read for class?
Mm-hmm. I
hmm
know it's so hard to like manage all that.
hmm Yeah. How would you say
Well, like when
your assigned reading impacted you?
I had to read Grapes of Wrath in 10th grade, and I literally wanted
Ooh,
to jump. Like, girl,
end it
that was
all.
not fun.
Bitch, I'm back out
Yeah.
my coma. No, I'm actually back in it.
I'm back in the coma. Um, yeah, like what? I don't know. I just think like so much of I mean, obviously a lot of people know this, that a lot of the books we read are like just in curriculum because they were like written by like a white guy a long time ago. And
Yeah.
so we deem them somewhat as like important or whatever.
hmm
Like we could have read such. I just think like the books chosen, and also, oh, did you read Of Mice and Men or like
Yes, I
Huckle?
heard of Mice and Men.
Did your teacher say the N word really loud?
Do they say? I don't think they say it in Of Mice and Men.
They don't. They say it in
Huckleberry
something. We
Finn is when my teacher said the N word, and that was
oh
uncomfortable.
oh
That
we
was
read that.
really uncomfortable.
Yeah, no. Well, my teacher said it in something. We read Huckleberry Finn, but we read that over the summer. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think it might have been our I think it might have been our summer reading too, but she was like so intent on saying it that like she brought it up in
Yeah,
our
she
classroom discussion.
somehow,
She
some
said, I
way.
actually have to say it. I'm gonna say the word.
I'm legally obligated.
That teacher also made us annotate our books.
I don't like doing that.
I'm like mixed on it.
When I'm reading for pleasure, I never do
Yeah,
that.
when I'm reading for pleasure, I've actually started keeping like a list of quotes in my phone. Like if I really like a quote and I'm like aware of it in the moment, I'll write it down. But
That's
like
nice.
I don't know, if I'm not reading something like if I'm like actually reading something to like try to retain the information, like and like picking stuff out to maybe reference later in like my own writing, I find annotations helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But just like reading a book, like why am I gonna mark up a whole book?
Yeah, it's not necessary.
Yeah.
My mother, she had every single book she owns is like highlighted.
Oh, really?
She's like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
lovely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She
Um,
has to do it.
I would kind of like to reread one of my books that I did annotate and like
See what you found.
look at what I
Yeah.
annotated. I
Mm.
also think I'm like an over annotator because I think I'm probably a little too precious about like what actually matters. I think I'm
Mm.
getting better about it, but yeah, but I had a question for you. Oh, yeah. I always think about like if I were an English teacher, like especially because
Mm-hmm.
I went to private school, like there was no curriculum, girl. They wrote their own fucking curriculum. I
Oh,
mean, maybe
gotcha.
there was some, maybe because I went to like a prep, I kind of a prep school, kind of not.
Mm-hmm.
I was not good when I didn't get into college on my first try anyway. Um,
Oopsie.
oopsie. But
Oopsie.
you know, sometimes things happen for a reason. And
God's
if that
plan.
didn't happen, guys, if
I
that
would
didn't
have
happen, this
never met
podcast wouldn't
you.
exist.
Exactly. I'm
That's a
shocked.
scary thought, honestly.
OMG.
I'm sad. No,
No,
I'm
every
like
day I do think myself we're going to Pitt. We also saved so much
much
money
money.
because
Yeah, look at
also like
us.
COVID, like what like you could have gone anywhere.
Literally. Oh my God.
It was online
Anyway,
school.
yeah. I was paying $80,000 to sit in my room. I would have died.
Yeah,
Oof.
that would have done it.
Um,
That would have done it.
yeah. So wait, I was just gonna ask you, what was it? What was I about to ask you?
Lovers.
I just had it in my
Need you
mind. I just had it
remember,
in my
please remember.
because if I was a teacher, I'd be teaching such cool books
I keep thinking about that.
because
Yeah,
you were
gonna be an English teacher.
yes, yeah, guys.
Woo, the official
Woo,
reveal
the
during
official
the
reveal.
reading episode. Yeah. So, I mean, it's exciting.
Yeah, because like I don't know, because like there is a place for the classics, and I do want to read like more classics. Like I've been collecting certain books that I want to
Hmm.
read. Like I bought like Frankenstein the other day. I bought like Picture of Dorian Gray.
Right. I do want to read Frankenstein.
Because like I feel like there are some classics where people are like, oh, these are classics for a reason, and there are some where it's
Hmm.
like
Well,
everybody
Mary
loves them some Great
Shelley,
Gatsby.
right. Um, I did like The Great Gatsby. No, I just think like some of them we can definitely just like summarize to the children
Yeah.
and then read like a cool adaptation or
But
something.
there's also just so many cool books that are like like contemporary literature,
Mm-hmm.
and like why not read that?
Exactly.
Like
Instead.
like detransition baby, I think about like I definitely wouldn't teach that in like you couldn't teach that in like before college, but like I would
I
love
haven't
to
read it.
like if I ever taught that, if I was ever like a college professor, I would totally teach that book.
Let me put that on my Goodreads.
It's so good. I love it so much. It's like it's the last like great book I read, I would say.
Oh, okay.
Like truly great book I read. And I read it
Good to
like
know.
last year. Like I finished it in like
There's
November or something.
there's so many things I might want to read.
I know my want to read is
I gotta get
so
busy.
I know I gotta start reading.
I really gotta get busy.
But yeah, there's just so much. I feel like people are like very precious about the kinds of books that like we read and stuff, and it's like, girl, there's so much good stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's do some new books.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but oh, did you always read books that were assigned in school, or were you like
There were some I definitely skipped.
really?
Yeah.
Which ones did you
Um,
skip?
I'm trying to think. Well, the last like half of Grapes of Wrath,
Okay,
I had to. Because
so
the teacher was so stupid for doing this. He made like us do group projects on it, but we
mm-hmm,
only did it on like 3 chapters each. So
mm-hmm.
mine was the first 3 chapters. Girl, he's
You
lucky I
got
stuck around
lucky.
for a couple. Yeah, I had no like what would benefit me from reading the rest of the book.
Yeah, what's my motivation?
What's the point? Yeah, you've lost me, honestly. You failed at your
Stop.
job.
You're losing me.
Losing me. Yeah, and he did.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was pretty good about it. But
I don't.
sometimes you're shitting your pants. Oh, I couldn't understand the Scarlet Letter.
Oh, really? I bought that
Like I
recently
was not
too.
ready for that. I was not ready for that when I read it at the time. I was like, girl, I got lacrosse practice.
What? Who
What
is
is
Hester
going on?
Prynne, and why should
Yeah.
I care? You
I
said,
watched
"Wow,
Easy A.
this book's kind of like Easy A."
Yeah. Weird. Huh.
Um, but the only book I ever skipped in school was the Aeneid.
Oh, pardon. Is that Latin?
No. Well,
What the
it was
fuck?
probably written in Latin, but
Okay, originally. Okay.
yeah, I was reading an English translation, but I read
Gotcha,
it for
gotcha.
I was supposed to it was one of my summer reading books for AP literature.
Mm.
Um our summer reading books were Life of Pi.
You got to read Life of Pi. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Life of Pi, the Aeneid, and something else. I wonder if I can look on my shelf. What would the I don't know what our third summer reading book would have been for. I feel like we had 3 books. I forget. Um, but yeah,
I couldn't do it.
that was the only book. Yeah, it was like timing, and I like didn't love like when we would read epic poems. Like we
Mm,
read some excerpts from like the Iliad freshman year.
mm,
Um, I actually liked Beowulf.
right.
Like I kind of enjoyed reading Beowulf, and then I hated the Inferno.
I didn't read those.
I read the Inferno in AP Lit too, and I like that was one of the ones like I felt like out on because I was like, I feel like people hype this up for no reason. Like
I'm kind of pissed off
it's
right
so
now.
repetitive and it's so like weird and like things
Okay.
defining as sin is like weird and like I don't know. But like
Mm,
I just didn't love it. Um
yeah.
Even though I did make a reference to the Inferno in my most recent newsletter. Um
Oh,
so any of you guys and I made I after writing it, I like made the joke in real life and the people at my winery got a good chuckle because one of the women I work with is a retired English teacher and
so she got it.
she was larfing at that joke. I was
Mhm.
like,
School.
school. But yeah, I read. Did you have any books that like you read in high school or college that you like loved?
Most of them probably in college. Oh, I did love it was in okay, I'll start with college because my brain can think of that. I loved everything in my horror literature class. We read Carrie and we read a lot of short stories I loved.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm forgetting the name of that book, but it's also a TV show. The Watchmen? No,
Oh
the
yeah,
other. That is
Watchmen.
a TV show, but it's the other one that I always confuse with it.
There was another senior year English class in my high school that read Watchmen, and it was like always like, oh, that time of
Really?
year.
Oh,
Yeah,
they get to read it. Um,
which is cool because that was a graphic novel. Having
hmm,
appreciation for some other types of literature.
exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
Um, I read so much poetry because that's kind of where my undergrad was at.
Your
Um,
poems,
yeah, my poems. Um,
Miss Dickinson over here.
I don't know, guys, it's
Call
crazy.
me Becca Dickinson.
There's a great joke in there somewhere we can figure out one day. And if you drag the Y, um, I'm trying to think. I loved, honestly, one of the most fun things ever was reading The Crucible, just because like my class was crazy and my ninth grade English class, like we just had
Hmm.
so much fun reading that damn play. And like we got to reenact scene. I love reading out loud in class. Like that's like my
Oh
favorite thing
yeah.
ever. And when people really
No,
get
and it would
into
always be
it,
fun when like you got to like in
have a
when you got
role.
to peacock a little bit, when you got to like read a play
Hmm.
in class and like act it out a little bit. Like that would always be that was a big day for the theater kids.
In 11th grade, we read The Importance of Being Earnest. Like we read the
Uh-huh.
whole thing in class and we actually had roles and stuff, but we were just reading in our seats. And
Hmm.
I was Algernon and I felt like I
Yeah.
killed that.
Yeah. No, you can be Algernon in one of them, and I'm gonna be Lady Bramble Stoke. What's her name?
Yeah, I forget her name.
I love
Totally.
that girl.
Love that girl. She's
Love that
crazy.
woman. No, and that was like, I don't know if you did you like get the jokes?
I did actually, especially because
Yeah,
it was
because
being
I
read out loud.
yeah, I remember getting the jokes like so, and people would come in my English class and be like, I don't get this book at all, and I'm like, guys, this book is so funny.
I'm
Like this play is
Lorfin
so
here.
funny. I'm Lorfin over. I'm itch bowling so hard right now.
No, I felt like I was good. But then when we watched the movie, like I'll think a lot more people got it then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Oh, I'm
Ooh.
catching on."
Okay.
Yeah, what about you though? Any faves?
What were my favorites? Um, we read my AP Lit class. We had some good ones. We read Catch 22 in that class, um, which is obviously where the phrase Catch 22 comes from, and it's like a war book. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like I'm so glad I read it in the context of a class because I it's one of the more confusing books you could read on your own.
Okay, I haven't read it.
If you didn't read like if you didn't know anything about the book and you just read it, you'd totally be like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, okay.
But it was kind of nice like talking about it in a class context because it's like they write different the chapters are all in not the chapters are not in chronological order.
Oh, that's exhausting.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like ooh, and it's supposed to be a like thing for like the madness of war and all that kind of stuff. And it's funny, it's farcical, but it's also like, oh, like concerning.
Okay.
But what other books did I read in school? Um, we read Brave New World, 1984,
Yes, loved those also.
the dystopian ones. What else did we read in lit? We read The Tempest and King Lear, and then we also read those weren't like my favorites, but King Lear especially. My my English teacher like loved King Lear. He's like, this is Shakespeare's best tragedy. I'm like, no, King Lear's just a dumbass. Like I can't relate to him at all. If anything,
Stupido.
no, if anything, like the Earl of like Gloucester, like with Edmund and Edward, like his sons, like that one was so like the shadow plot, the secondary plot in that one is like so much more interesting to
Mm-hmm.
me than like the main plot. But ooh, Othello. We read Othello my junior year. I love Othello so much.
I also liked
Um,
that. We read that sophomore year.
it's definitely my favorite Shakespeare, even though I'm no authority. Like he was like, oh, people always talk about Hamlet, but like King Lear, and I'm like, no, Hamlet's so much better than King Lear,
I like Hamlet too, yeah.
and Othello's better than both. I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Damned if I do.
but I don't think I read like a single book. I read oh, what's that book called? It's on my shelf. It's by like Mary Jane Satrapi is the woman's name. but it's like we read in my transnational feminism class. Um, what's it called? I forget, but it's like a graphic novel.
Mm,
Something Polis, like something.
I don't know.
Now it's gonna bother me. Gotta look it up real quick.
I was talking also, I remembered it's called Lovecraft Country, not Watchmen.
Oh
That's what I was thinking of
yeah.
because they both have
Oh, that's a
shows.
book.
Yes.
Oh, Persepolis was the one I was looking up. Um,
Persepolis.
but it's about like growing up in Iran,
Mm,
with like the, you know, backdrop of conflict and stuff. That
mm-hmm.
was a really cool book. And it was like graphic novels. Because that was another thing I like look back on my high school thing and like just realizing how like homogenous the authors were we were reading, just like all like
Exactly.
white guys basically.
Exactly. Like we didn't need that.
The only time I remember reading like a black author in um high school is we read a short story by Alice Walker,
Mm.
who wrote The Color Purple, and it was literally for the express purpose for my teacher to fucking like trash it.
What the hell?
Like, because he was just like he just trashed the story. Like he just spent like a whole class period talking about how the story was bad. Um, and
What
like
the
that was
hell?
that's the only memory I have of like actually reading like a black author in high school. Um,
Yeah. We read Raising the Sun. I think that's it.
mm, yeah, so I was like, and then we had our English teacher saying the N word, of course, but
Right, right, of course.
but so that's another thing, like, because like there is like a big expansive literature, and like yes, there is like I think it's just best if like things are coming from like a diverse perspective, and like not even
Mm-hmm.
that like, oh, every author you read has to be like POC or LGBT or anything like that, but just for like no like for 4 years of English classes, and like I took 6 English classes or 5 English classes when I was in high school, like, and the fact
Mm-hmm.
that I encountered no black
None.
authors is like so crazy.
A little concerning.
Or like, and especially
Can't be
like
right.
definitely didn't read anything by like Spanish people or like
Mm-hmm.
Latin people, like anything like
Yeah.
that, or very few like Asian authors, like stuff like that. It was very. Oh, we did read Just Mercy. Like we did a one school one book for Just Mercy.
Okay.
Um, so I lied, but still.
Not enough. Not enough.
Yeah, but that was. But now it's like now it's fun because like that's something I like to do in my like personal reading. I like to read like a big expanse of things and try to like
Mm-hmm.
use my reading to like gain more knowledge and like different perspectives and stuff. And I've also been trying to like explore like different genres and stuff. So like not only trying to read fiction, but also like nonfiction.
Mm-hmm.
I've read some graphic novels recently. Um, and you know, I was also trying to get into like away from like just literary fiction and trying to get more into genre like mystery or like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I can find a cool science fiction book or something.
Well, I'm trying to read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I've been trying to read that for so long. If it's good, I'll let you know. And you
I feel
can
like my
borrow
brother
my
read
copy.
that.
Everyone loves it who reads it. It's
Mm.
like sci-fi mind bender.
Bionic pussy.
Constantly space adventure. Yeah.
But with that being said, what kind of books do you like to read now mostly, would you say?
Hmm. I do love just a classic rom-com fiction. I'll
Mm.
say it. I do love mystery, and I do love I read a lot of books on astrology
Mm-hmm.
and witchcraft and stuff. I think it's so interesting to read about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm pretty much down for anything though.
Mm-hmm. As long as it's interesting.
Exactly. Exactly. As long as it has a cool cover, I'm good, guys. I'm judging that cover.
No, we need to like you do need to judge a book by its cover a little bit.
Yeah. If it has a nice cover, it'll probably be a nice book,
Yeah.
at least.
Like don't judge a book by its cover, but also like
A little bit,
if a cover
guys.
looks good.
Fair enough. It can
literally.
be yours.
Um, but yeah.
This is one of my harder hitting questions. Paperback or hardcover? What do you prefer?
Paperback all the way.
Yeah.
Hardcover
I
books take up so much space.
They really do. But if a book is like really big, like it needs support, I feel like.
No, because it just makes it bigger.
But I
Like I have this book. It's called And the like Let the Record Show. It's a oral history of like ACT UP in New York. And
mm,
it's like 600 pages or something. I bought it when it came out, and like the it's so huge, this book. And I saw it in paperback recently, and it was like so much smaller. And I was like, see, like that's
let's
like
just
this
use
book is
that.
definitely 2 or 3 pounds. And like
Oh my
when I get
God.
around to reading it, I'll have to like lug it around. It's 600 pages, so I'm strapped in for a little while reading this
Right.
book.
Of
Um,
course.
and so like it's gonna be such a nuisance on me to carry
It
around.
will be
Um,
hard. I
and
believe in
but
you though.
like paperback books are so, even though paperback books do get like a
Fucked
little
up.
fucked up
Yeah.
and they're fragile, but
It's just because mostly like I read in my bed a lot.
mm-hmm,
And also paperbacks, like I smush them all the time or like they
mm-hmm.
won't stay still. And I get frustrated and I get flustered.
Blistered, frustrated,
But generally paperback, you're right.
yeah. Do you have an e-reader at all?
No, and I don't think I'll ever get one.
Really?
I just love having my hard copies.
I also love books, but the e-reader was so useful when I was traveling. Because
Yeah.
honestly, neither paperback nor, especially when you're trying to travel like efficiently and like save space, the
Mm-hmm.
e-reader really comes through. And it is nice that you can have like books on demand and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do prefer having like an actual book in my hand sometimes.
I love it. I love having a
Um,
book.
but what else was I about to ask? Oh, and now I'm back on my library kick, which means I've rented exactly one book from the library.
Perfect.
I put a hold on another one, but it I waited too long because I wasn't really reading that much in the past
Damn.
like month and a half. So they gave her back. They said send her back in the library system.
We can't trust this person. This
But
damn book.
yeah. And so you also put ideal reading location.
Yes. Like if you were like, okay, I'm gonna read for the day, where are you gonna be?
Oh, coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
Great place to read, like a little cafe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or like the beach.
Yeah.
Amazing place to read a book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where else? Those probably be my top two. But definitely cafe
Yes.
vibes, like especially like reading at a cafe, like oh, public transportation. Yeah.
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 Yeah, actually.
Dude, if I'm in a cafe though and it's raining out and I'm reading, oh my fucking God. And it's fall time. Oh my fucking God.
I'm a
You're
boy, the
kidding.
lightning and the thunder, kind of
Gonna
girl that's
get it,
gonna make
wanna
you
make you
wonder.
wonder. Exactly. I also think an ideal one that none of people talk about is a hammock
Oh yeah.
because your arms are like perfectly, you're just in the perfect position to just read.
Ah,
Loves
yes.
it. Yes, yes,
Yes,
agree.
yes.
Yes.
Oh, the
Well,
train.
yes.
No, when you're reading on the train, that's also
I've never been
cunty.
on the train.
Railing.
Yeah, that would be lovely. I like reading on planes.
Yeah. Hmm.
The altitude makes the pages better. Loves that.
Um, but yeah. And I'm so happy we're in a little book club now because I truly do love discussing literature.
Yeah, I know. Guys, Macy has a book club if you didn't know, and you're not
Hmm.
invited to it. Unfortunately.
Even though we should start inviting people.
Yeah. It could
We
be
have
like
just our little
a
crew.
nationwide thing, yeah.
Macy's book club.
Macy's book club.
Oh my God.
It's on Zoom. You can be anywhere.
Oh my God, those girls that read like a lot of books. Macy's one of those girls that reads a lot of books.
She does.
She's read so many books. I'm like, how do you? Because the other thing about reading, and
She's a
like
speed reader.
I did want to ask you about like, do you find it hard to like find time to read?
I just feel like I'm like I can't just read for like 20 minutes or something. Like I need to at least
Mm.
dedicate like an hour or two to it. So
Uh,
then it is kind of hard to convince myself to do it, but once I do it, I'm in there, you know.
yeah, I've gotten better about that. I used to be like, oh, I had to end on like a chapter, but like now I'm like much better because I started doing like when I do work, I usually do like Pomodoro stuff. So I'll do like 20 minutes and then have a 5 minute break.
Mm-hmm.
And like usually I read during the 5 minute break.
Oh, nice.
So like I'll just read a couple pages real quick, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
a good way to pass. And it's a good way
Some
to like,
time.
not like completely rot like while you're on a
Yeah.
break and just go between like your phone and your computer and
Relieve
stuff.
yourself. Right.
Um, but yeah, but also just like reading is like effortful, like which is
I
tough.
know. Like brain power a little
Yeah, it
bit.
does like it is hard like you do have to be in like a certain space to like read a book.
Yeah, no, sometimes I can't pay attention like at all. And I'm just
Yeah.
I
Or
read
like
like
it's
5 pages. I'm like, what did I didn't remember any
like
of
the end
that.
of the day, I know I'm not gonna be up for much longer and it's like what am I gonna do? Am I gonna watch an episode of Below Deck or am I gonna read?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Whereas like
Below
Below
deck it
Deck can help me
is.
start to like wind my mind down. Whereas if I like I'm starting to read, I can like
I got wound up.
yeah. And I also feel like a bad book can also just like stop your momentum in its tracks, or like a book that's just like not right for you a little bit.
It's so hard to finish those, but I feel like it sucks quitting a book.
Yes, yeah. Especially when you get like a certain
Way
amount
in.
into like a book
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like I can't abandon this because I'm also not a quitter by nature. Like I hate quitting things.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sometimes I do need to get better at sensing but I also don't feel the need to break up with books often.
The only time recently I've had to do it is when I was reading that damn like Neverland book that's like a twisted tale from Disney where it's
Oh,
like what if Peter Pan like went a different way. It was
okay.
so bad. Oh my God. I read 2 chapters and I had to stop.
I I kind of did that with Jeanette McCurdy's book, but I didn't stop reading it because I thought it was bad. I was like, this is intense, and I like don't. I kind of just was like, I kind of like stopped reading for 2 months after, and I was like, oh, I'm just like afraid
Oh
other books will be
geez.
like that now.
Oh God.
And
Well,
so I had to like force myself to like read another book. I do want to like actually finish it eventually because I think it would be interesting to read.
I did just buy my copy of it, so
Yeah.
I will be doing that.
But yeah, and then I had another experience with that with our last book club book.
And that's my fault because it was my pitch. I didn't realize it
Yeah.
was going to be so terrible.
I was honestly kind of angry when I finished the book.
It's not good.
No, because like so we read the book Everyone Knows Her Mother's a Witch.
Hmm.
And the first thing that made it so confusing is that she doesn't tell you who's talking. It switches perspectives,
It's
but
crazy. It kind of like gaslights you.
the author's like, I'm gonna challenge you
Yeah, because
to
you don't know
figure
who's
out who's
speaking.
talking actually.
And it's like, whoa, you should have done that. You're the one who
Yeah.
wrote this.
And
Yeah.
it's also the author also decides, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna introduce a character for like just a chapter, and then we'll
Screw
never hear from them
them.
again. The
Yeah.
baker, the candlestick maker, like all them, they're gonna be in
Hmm.
the book, but they're only gonna be there for one scene.
Yeah. So
Or
you
they'll
have to guess who's
or maybe like
important.
two scenes, like 100 pages apart, and then it's gonna be like, remember me? And it's like, no, of
Yeah.
course not.
No, I do not. No, I do not actually.
And then the fact that like I thought because it's about this woman who gets accused of being a witch, and I thought
Hmm.
the whole thing was supposed to be like the whole joke was it was supposed to be farcical, being like, oh, everybody's accusing this woman of being a witch just because she like did all this, like because she like pissed off this one person, and now they're
Right.
attributing all the bad stuff that's ever happened in this village to her. And that was supposed to be like the farce of it, and I thought it was just gonna like to do that successfully. I feel like you have to not acknowledge it,
Hmm.
like just let it speak for itself. But then she fully acknowledged it at the end of the book when like
Yeah.
the girl was on trial, and it was like, oh, everybody's just doing this, and I was like, well, you just gave the game
We all
away.
knew that.
Like we all
Yeah.
knew that. Like,
You don't
and
have to
now it's
say
like,
it.
oh, like,
Right.
and then it did start to make sense to me when I realized it was based off a true story
Oh, you didn't know that at
or like
first?
historical. No, I didn't know that the whole book.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then I realized near the end, and I do think it's a case of the author did not give herself enough license to go off the
Go
script of
with it.
history. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Because it's also a thing where, as a writer who's like, I've written like, I mostly did this with like plays and stuff, but like when you're writing a play, like even if you base it off something that happened in your real life, it's like, just because something happened and it was interesting to you and it makes for a good story, like when you're just telling your friends, that doesn't necessarily make it dramatically, or in this case, narratively interesting.
Right.
Like, just because this happened to this woman in Germany in like the 1600s or whatever doesn't make it narratively interesting. And I feel like the author didn't do like the necessary work to like actually make it narratively interesting.
Make it interesting. Yeah. That is definitely fair critique, and I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, the book was weird.
It was a bad book.
Made me kind of mad. I was like, damn, I read this.
I'm kind of pissed.
What was I about to? It was funny at certain parts. I did find like some of the jokes funny, but I was like also like so confused I could barely appreciate them.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, okay. No, I hate this again.
And now we're back.
Now we're back to the
Wait,
bad
I
part.
had another thing to say about the book. I forget. But it was, guys, this was a weird thing that happened this week. I finished the book like a month after book club happened because I missed book club. And but I didn't want to give up on the book. And then the day I finished it, a question on Jeopardy is related to the damn book.
That is crazy. That's very Bear Boy from the Airport showing up at Target.
Literally, yes. Like a couple hours after, I was literally like, it was a daily double too. It was the last question of Double Jeopardy, and it was the daily double, and it was about her fucking son.
Did you get it? Like you knew it? Or
it took me a second to like, see, I finished the book that afternoon. It still took me a second to recall the guy's fucking name.
Right, because you didn't know what was happening in the book.
But I was like, I know that, and I still got it wrong. I called him like Johann instead of Johannes.
Oh, that's okay.
But I recalled the last name.
Gotcha.
Which in Jeopardy is, I don't know if they would have given it to me if I had said Johann Kepler. But like, it's weird because like, I feel like if I had said Johann Kepler, I might have gotten it wrong. But if I had just said Kepler, they would have been like, oh yeah.
You know it.
You got that.
They do that.
Yeah, on Jeopardy. I'm not sure about the ruling. Sometimes it's better to be unspecific.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now I need to move on and try to read more books, get back in my reading grind. But it's also hard because it's like when you like work and you're like,
you just want to sit on your phone and play or watch Below Deck.
Literally, our whole like our existence,
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also hard because I like write, so I like need to read. I need to start reading again, so like, so that is very good for writing and stuff. I read like articles and stuff, so I'm not like completely not reading, but
right,
I want to get back into it. So
book shibido.
Maybe this podcast and this discussion will be a little impetus.
Do it.
Literally,
I think we can do it.
I think we can do it because I gotta finish my reading goal. Because I was ahead of schedule and now I'm like back on schedule.
I'm ahead of schedule. I want to stay on schedule forever. And I want to,
I want to achieve my reading goal and maybe even surpass it.
I think I can.
But I'm in like the middle of these two books that I started before that bad book. And then I just like left. And so now I gotta, the one I'm not as, they're both nonfiction books. And I feel like I remember like, so it's like not really like you have to remember like plot points or anything. But anyway.
We'll get done.
Yeah, but I think that's my piece on reading. Do you have anything else to add, Miss Becker?
No, guys, read on. Read on. Read on. Read on. Beautiful.
Yeah, but we're going to throw to one more little break. We'll be right back to get into today's topic. Or no, segments. Fuck.
Oh, damn.
Fuck.
Guys, I'm scared.
That's the like third time. Oh God. Oh God. My friend Quinn.
I'm doing my best Jennifer Lawrence impression when she got punched in the throat and no hard
that was
feelings.
Pretty good. Let's go. Let's go.
No, it's okay.
Guys, so funny. All right, well, guys, time for our weekly segments. You better believe it. And first, it's our comment corners. And guys, we have not one, Not two, but oh wait, no. Yeah, it is two. All right.
Yeah, that's the exact
Yeah,
number,
it's
actually.
two. We got two comment corners from our beauties. One of them, Quinn, if you'll do the honor, is from a dear friend
Icon
of
in the
ours.
MPJ community. He was a main player in last week's episode, actually.
Oh yeah, and little does he
Um,
know.
in my script for bugging out. Have you not
Hmm.
told him about bugging out yet?
I will. I
And
will.
how he was kilt by the bug?
And the cocoon.
and and what some are calling the climax of the film. Oh, and no, it's
Yeah.
definitely rising action. Climax is definitely when you are like torch that fucking bug.
Yeah. It's like the little, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
But so we of course had Mr. Ryan, cousin Ryan. We posted Becca birthday, and I mean Becca posted about her
Yeah,
own birthday with
of
a graphic she
course.
had made herself in true
As
Becca
I should do.
fashion, as
Yeah.
she should do, and as she has license to do. Um, and as I support her 110% on.
Thank you.
But we got cousin Ryan. Cousin Ryan noticed, and cousin Ryan says, "I
First,
sensed that it was cancer season when I woke up this morning. Dot dot dot. The vibes are immaculate."
dude, he knows.
Dude. What is cousin Ryan's sign? I must ask. I
I
can't believe we
want you to
haven't had this
guess.
conversation
I
anymore.
want you to guess so badly.
Aries.
So that's close because he's an Aries moon and rising.
Mm-hmm.
But his
Mm-hmm.
sun,
I'm good at guessing risings.
yeah,
I feel
that's
like I always
good.
get risings right.
Yeah, good, good, good. Ryan is actually a Pisces, which is why he's a liar, a manipulator, but in like a really fun, girly way.
Can I say, when I was looking at his Facebook, I did
Uh-huh.
see the post that Jewel made about Christmas when
I
you guys
don't
were
know what
playing
you're
left,
referring
right, and
to.
center.
Oh, okay.
Jewel made a post about Christmas.
Left, right, and center.
I'm
He
getting
got so
into I'm getting into
pissed.
Becca's family lore now. If you guys remember from our Christmas episode when Ryan ruined Christmas,
Yeah, yeah.
um, I read like Jules' post was so like positive and upbeat and stuff, and then like juxtapose that with like what you described as like him being an absolute terrorist and like stealing all the money.
It's true. He sucks sometimes, especially during family games, because he
I
just
just
wants
love
to
I just love
win.
that juxtaposition so much.
That is funny.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, cousin Ryan never changed because what else will we talk
Yeah,
about on the pod?
exactly.
We
And
got like
Ryan,
three
thank you.
topics.
I can't wait till he moves to LA and hopefully meets like some crazy people as well. Like
I
we're gonna
know
have
we
some
go to
stories
visit
then.
him. MPJ
Exactly.
Live LA with cousin
LA.
Ryan.
Yeah, we'll be on there for some business, I'm sure. But yeah, thanks Ryan for the birthday wishes. Ryan
Hmm.
also loves cancer season because it's a water sign. So yeah.
Hmm.
But our second comment is from famed Miss Gunk Cooper. We love you, Cooper.
Love you.
This was on our TikTok where Quinn was like, I just know things
Yeah, I just find a way to
and
know
I find
things.
a way to know things. I just know things. Cooper's comment reads, nobody. The kids from the gifted and talented program circa 2008.
He gagged me a bit with this one.
Literally
Were you in the gifted
got
program as
her.
a kid?
So here's what happened. It's like I was in the class with all the gifted kids, but I wasn't actually in the gifted class. So me and one other kid stayed behind and we were not in the gifted
That's
class, but
crazy because the
they were
same
like
thing happened to
almost.
me. Like I took a test for it and like I took the test to be in the gifted program, but they didn't take me for some reason.
Yeah. No, it's like it was crazy because it was like, well, why weren't we just in a different class then if everyone else in here was good? Like they could have just the gifted teacher could have just come
Literally.
here.
No, but honestly, I dodged a bullet. We dodged a bullet.
Yeah, no. It's better this way.
Literally. But it's like not getting into an expensive, like nice private school. It's like we dodged a bullet. Sometimes you dodge bullets in life.
Yeah, exactly.
But Miss Gunk,
Thank you, Miss
I
Gunk.
love that we have somebody in our little arsenal, like our little whack pack that is
No, yeah.
named Miss Gunk.
Miss Gunk.
Goes by Miss Gunk on the internet. I believe has like Teresa Caputo as their
Yes.
avatar.
Oh, you better believe it. Doing the heart.
And so, Miss Gunk, we again ask you. I have a feeling you want some sort of anonymity, but like, if you could just give us a crumb of like what your background
Yeah,
is, who you
email
are,
in. Oh my God,
because this is our
please.
second time talking about you, Miss Gunk, and maybe
Yeah.
you want to keep a little bit of mystery, which I can also respect.
Yeah, I get it.
I can't understand because I will literally tell you everything about myself if you just give me the chance.
Yeah, without you even asking, actually.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I record this podcast. I write about myself every week. Like my
All
whole
about
life
me,
is an
baby.
open book, really.
All for you.
um, but
Well,
yeah, those are our comment corner. We had a
and
fun
we
little time in the corner.
exactly, we appreciate
Um,
them. You
comment
guys
corner could be a cute
can
little
also
reading
do
nook.
this. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Hmm.
Wow. But yeah, guys, you simply if you simply comment on something, like this could be you.
It could be
So
so
easy.
easy.
So do it. Well, with that being said, we are moving on to
Hmm.
our first jump scares of the week. This is our thorn. This is anything that is ow, not great, not fun, not
Hmm.
lovely. So,
Hmm.
Quinn, what was that for you this week?
Well, girl, I promise another horror story.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a little bit of a mistake, or not a mistake, but I just assumed because usually, so I do board dog on Rover, and
Mm-hmm.
in my house sometimes when I'm just sitting for people I know, like I do bring dogs to my house, and
Sure.
my parents are generous and they help me because they also both love animals and they will like help me when they can. They helped a lot when I had the puppies, and obviously I was very grateful to them. Um, but I got a little double booked this weekend because I was working for this one person we know personally, and then I was working for this one Rover job. And I realized that my mom has work, so she has a horse show out of state that she's going to be at for like the next like week and a half, 2 weeks. And my dad is going down to visit his mom for the 4th of July because she lives down at like the Delaware beaches. And so like I'm gonna be alone in the house this weekend, but I
Mm-hmm.
also work my job on the weekends. And so and they have a festival for the 4th of July, which is looming. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had all of that, plus I have 2 dogs. And I'm like, well, nobody's gonna be home to help these damn dogs. And so then the lady from Rover reaches out to me and she's like, oh, getting ready, when can we drop off? And I was like, I gave her very specific times to drop off and was like, I work and there'll be nobody else to like, so if you could drop them off at this time. And I
Mm-hmm.
did give her a slightly bigger window because I didn't want to be like, oh, drop him off at 10 and then if she's late it's like I'm late for work.
Right.
Like I did give her a slightly bigger window to like allow for some time and stuff. And then
Mm-hmm.
she starts like asking questions, being like, oh, well, is he going to be in like his crate all day and like all this stuff? And I was like, yeah, unfortunately, he is going to be in his crate a lot of the time because usually I have people around to help me, but that's not the case this weekend, unfortunately. I didn't know that. And I apologize. That's going to be the
Mm-hmm.
case. I literally I was like, I'm going to reach out to my neighbor who usually helps us when we're out of town with our dogs. And I was like, oh, I'll reach out to my neighbor and I'll see if she can come and let him out during the day. And then she transgressed because she was like, I feel like you misled me because like we did have a meeting like
Uh-huh.
before this and I like met her dog and like they came and saw my house. I opened my home to these people
Of course.
and well, this woman. And she was like, when she said, I feel like you misled me, oh baby. Oh, no, because what we're not going to do is cast aspersions.
Don't say that.
We're not
Yeah.
going to call my character into question. You're not going to call my integrity into question. We're sitting dogs. It's not that fucking serious, lady. Like,
Right. Yeah.
whatever. Like, and so, and also, she also caught me on a bad day because I was also like pissed off about my other job. And
Mm.
I was starting to feel like overwhelmed and being like overbooked. And also, my friends are coming into town this weekend from Pittsburgh. Like, and by into town, I mean in Philly, which is an hour away. And so I want to
Mm.
see them. And so I was like, if I had 2 dogs to sit, that definitely would have been out of the cards. And so I was like, fuck, I'm gonna miss my friends. And I had a hard day at work. And now this lady's gonna try to mouth off to me and suggest things about me that just aren't true. And
Mm-hmm.
so I got pissed really quickly. I went from
Oh
like 0 to
damn.
100 real quick. And I hit her back and said, look, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I've I've been completely transparent with you. I've now apologized to you several times and acknowledged that my circumstances have changed. And I'm actually doing the opposite of misleading you by being this transparent with you. Like I'm saying, because we also had that meeting a month and a half ago. Like,
oh yeah, girl, things change.
yeah, like I don't even know if I had either just started the winery or was just about to start the winery, like when this all happened, when I met her. And so, like, yeah, my circumstances have changed. And I didn't know, I didn't ask my parents 2 months ago, hey, are you going to be home this weekend? Like, no. And maybe that was
Right.
my mistake, but like, you know. And so then, and I threw something in there being like, I was in no way trying to mislead you. And I honestly don't appreciate you saying that at all. And she is going on like a international trip, and like I was trying, and I like understood that, and so that's why I'm trying to make these adjustments. But she's just like, now she's like painting me out to be like this villain and stuff, and she's like, um and she's like, oh well, I guess because I also offered to her to drop him off a day early, like drop the dog off a day early, so I could like, so she didn't have to stick to that window of like my
Okay.
work and stuff. So I'm like trying to accommodate this woman,
Right.
and I'm like apologizing and all this stuff, and she's like, and then she's like, well, I guess I don't have many options now. And I guess I'll drop him off on Friday night so he has time to be with you before he's in his crate for 2 days. I hope your neighbor is able to come over and let him out like multiple times during the day. And her tone was just like not it to me. And so I was like, honestly, I don't even want you coming to my house. I don't want to do this anymore. And so I just canceled on her.
Work.
I was like, sorry. Because honestly, I don't want to. First of all, like she obviously thinks she already has a preconceived notion that I'm not going to do a good job taking care of her animal. And so like
Yeah.
she shouldn't send it to my house then.
Yeah.
Like I'll give you a kick in the
Easy.
ass to make a new arrangement for your dog.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And
Problem
then
fixed.
so I was just like, you know what, at this point, and also I just didn't want to deal with her. Fuck you. Fuck off, actually. If you're not gonna like if you're not gonna know me and you're gonna be like, oh well, you're like this, and this. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I just canceled on her and I sent her a message. I gave her the grace of sending her a message. And then fucking Rover, I don't know what this means, but I like canceled and Rover was like, oh, your request has been received.
Yeah. What
And
could that possibly?
I was like, what do you mean request?
Yeah. No, girl,
That
it's
dog's
not
not
being
coming to my
done.
fucking house.
Yeah. Trust.
And I don't think there's any recourse that you have to like make it come here.
Right.
Like, what's Rover gonna do? Tell me I have to take care of the dog?
Yeah.
No,
Girl, nice try.
worst that happens is I get banned off that fucking app, which is better for me, honestly. And literally
Listen. Oh,
last night, after all that went down, I made myself inactive on like everything. Like I was like, I'm not accepting new clients. I have another job later this month. I'm gonna do that, and then I think I'm gonna be done with it because I just hate it.
Jewel said that, well, she only has the walks and drop-ins on. Like you can't
Oh, okay.
request her for anything else. I think that's why she likes it. Because she just goes over for like the most she can do for a dog is like 30, 45 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's honestly, and like it was before I changed my rates. So this lady was literally paying me. The dog was gonna be in my house for 12 days, and I was only gonna get $46 a day, which was like only like $38 or something after Rover takes their cut.
Mm.
Which is honestly like not a lot of money for like dog sitting, because dog sitting is like, sure, it's like you have them in your house and stuff, but and like you would just be in your house anyway, but also like it's just a lot of work. Like dogs are a lot of work to take care of.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. Especially the thing about like having an issue because I like have a job. Like, girl, I make over $100 like a shift. Like I'm netting out like like 100
Mm-hmm.
$200 a shift. Like I'm not gonna fucking not go to work
Yeah, exactly.
so I can take care of your fucking dog. No.
Yeah. Physically
So
can't do that.
I don't know. So yeah, that pissed me off.
Dang.
I was we were supposed to record last night and then we did not because I had to call off the recording because it was all happening like right as we were about to record. And I was like, if I get on the mic, if I get on the mic, I will be like Suzanne Collins' pen. Like it's gonna be hot.
Hot.
So
dang.
Yeah, so I don't know. Safe travels to her. Hope she gets where she's going.
Good luck.
Best of luck. Hope she found a sitter. But yeah, that was my jump scare. Becca, what was yours?
Well, something about going places is you have to also come back from them. So on the way back from Wisconsin, I was supposed to leave on Sunday night. I had a flight, and then Macy dropped me off at the airport. It was fine. My flight was only delayed like 30 minutes, which is like that's like no delay basically because you have to expect that, at least that.
Yeah.
And we all got on the plane. We were like, "Ooh, it's kind of fucking hot in here." Like, do you feel that? The woman next to me was like feeling very claustrophobic and she was being very vocal about that. And then the pilot gets on to aircom and he's like, yeah, so we're going to sit here for another hour actually because the air conditioner is broken.
Ooh.
And I was like, okay. And by hour, they mean 3 hours. And so that means I will miss my connection by about 3 hours. So I'm going to have to maybe step off the plane. And I was like, okay, let me think about these things. Instead
of me deplane.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to well, we all had to deplane actually because it has to be a certain temperature for people to be on the plane, and it was actually exceeding that temperature before we got on the plane. It was exceeding that temperature, so we all had to step off. And I was like, let me see if I can just get rebooked for tomorrow real quick. So then another night at Macy's, yay, and we ate Indian food at her house. But then the next day, I had literally like the same time flight. So I Ubered to the airport, get on the damn plane. And then this one was fine. Like I was like, oh, no delay, like work. And then we're just circling in the air for a little bit, like just going in circles actually. And we can all tell. And the pilot's like, hey, so we're actually going to be up in the air for about another hour because
catch me in the air. Yeah.
There is severe thunderstorms over Charlotte where we're supposed to land. We're gonna land at this other airport and fuel up and then see what's up. So I missed my connection then by about 2 hours. But American, I'll say you by name because you kind of suck actually. But they were like,
they all suck. Spoiler
alert. They automatically rebooked me for an 11 p.m. flight. So now I'm also texting Jewel and I'm like, so you do have to get me in Newark at 1:30 a.m. And she's like, oh my dear goodness. And I was like, and you have to get me tonight because I work tomorrow. Famously.
my mom would have been like, you can't Uber.
An hour and a half to Allentown, Pennsylvania from Newark. No, Jewel was trying to play that. And then she was like, okay, I don't want you to be stranded. I'll do it. And finally, we get to Charlotte, like after literally an hour and a half of like sitting there. And it was so annoying. And I was getting so tired. And then like my Newark plane or my Charlotte plane takes off to Newark like at 12. There's severe thunderstorms that we are flying through and I'm trying to damn sleep and the plane is shaking in the jello and like the lightning, it felt like it was gonna hit us and I was like, actually, like what does like if lightning hit a plane, like what would happen? Like the plane is okay? I don't know, guys.
You're flying post-submersible. Titan
Exactly.
submersible. You're like, the pressure.
Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Yeah, and then finally arrived in Newark around 2:30 a.m. Was driven home by my poor mother, and we got home around 4:30. Then I got up at 6:30 to go to work at 7. And I felt like I was floating. And I'm like, of course, like my best weekend ever.
Comes
had to end with that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I was just like not a woman.
I'm having an empath moment because I'm like, oh.
Exactly.
Maybe it's because I've fucking been there. Because I have fucking been there.
You certainly have. Travel. That's the thing about it. It can sometimes go definitely haywire. But I'm safe at home.
Especially when no one is reining these fucking corporations in for anything they literally do.
Like chill.
Mayor Pete, do your fucking job challenge.
Yeah. I dare you.
Leave those damn kids at home. We know you have things for a sitter.
Exactly. But yeah, so that was basically my jump scare. It's just the delays and all that and my lack of sleep.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
But
hate that for you.
now, thank you. Thank you, because I know you've been there.
Mm-hmm.
But now that the nasty is out of the way, we get to move on to our manic pixie moments, which is just the wonderful, the great, the fantastic, anything so lovely. So, Quinn, what was that for you this week?
My manic pixie moment. I've had a big week on eBay for some reason.
Oh, lovely.
Sometimes eBay just be kicking. Like I just be checking a little bit sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because did I talk about when I got my super discounted shoes? I believe I
Yes.
did on this show.
Yeah,
Well, thing is, I've like tried, I've had them for like month and a half now. They don't really work as like working shoes.
sure.
I've like been wearing them to work, but like if I do too much walking, they do start to really fucking
They
hurt.
hurt. Oh no. Oh no.
And so I've been like on the lookout for new shoes, and I did eventually procure new shoes. Um which is good. But
That is
um
good.
I also found these other shoes that I've been wanting. Like I was looking at because I have my white high tops that I have. I love me a white high top.
Mm-hmm.
Good little versatile shoe. But my ones, the laces broke and I haven't ordered new laces and they're kind of just like beat up. So I'm like, why don't I just get new ones? But I also don't want to pay for new shoes, like full
Right.
retail price for new shoes. And I found this other pair. I was like, oh, I would get these, but they're expensive. I don't really want to buy that. And then I found them on
Mm-hmm.
eBay at like a good
Yes.
price. But I was like, what if I got that price a little lower? And so this was the first time I ever did this. I made an offer on eBay below
Okay.
asking price.
Nice.
And the offer, let me say, it was accepted.
Yes.
And
Score.
I saved me like $10.
Oh, sweet.
Which paid for the shipping because the shipping was $10. But I was like,
That just proves the rule of life that you should haggle whenever you can.
yeah, no, barter. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I've sold things on eBay before and like eBay kind of like sets the prices. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I don't even know if but like I would have fully accepted like a lower price than what I would get.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Nice.
but so I was like, and it wasn't like so low that I was like, it's a little bit of game theory because you're like, how low can I go so I don't like insult the person,
Right.
but like I can also save the optimum amount of money. But
Yeah.
so maybe I could have gone a little bit lower. I was like, maybe I'd do like 45, but no. I was just like, they make this offer. And so yeah, Mama got 2 new pairs of shoes. Like I
That's so
didn't just
exciting.
turn down a like $400 dog sticker.
Job.
But you know
Oopsie.
what? No amount of money is worth my integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it wasn't worth it. So who
Yeah,
cares? I'll find the money. And honestly,
exactly.
thing
The money will
is,
come.
I'm making plenty of money right now
Good.
without fucking dog sitting. And so it's not, I started doing it to make some fucking money. And now it's not paying me as well as the other
Does it
two
come?
jobs. So
Yeah, more than it's worth.
it can go on the back burner, literally.
Forget it.
Anyway,
Forget about it.
but Becker, what was
Mm.
your manic pixie moment this week?
My manic pixie moment was totally just being with my good friend Macy. OMG.
OMG.
Like, there's just nothing like being with your friends. Like, this is what life is about. Like, when we were
Literally, yeah.
swimming in the lake and she was like, Becca, come here. And we were out in the water, like practically drowning. We were both like, I love you so much. It was
At
crazy.
night,
Yeah, at night where
you
all
were
horror
trying to go
movies
find the
start.
Titan submersible.
We were on a mish. Um, no, and then we both experienced like I was getting like nausea because I was thinking about how much I missed her. And we were like, well, what the fuck? Like, what are we gonna do? It's just gross that we live so far away from each other,
Literally.
but it makes seeing each other so exciting.
I know.
But yeah,
No, that's why I'm like still plotting how to see my friends this weekend.
I think you can find a way.
Yeah, I feel
Or
like I figured it
there's a
out
way.
now.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm hoping to get sent. We're manifesting that it rains on Saturday enough so I can get sent home.
Hell yeah.
Especially because I got cut from work for the first time. Like they were like, go home, please.
Right.
We don't need
Please.
all these people here. Please go home. And like the
Mm-hmm.
first day they asked me to do it, I was like, no, I'll stay and catch my bag. But then the second day, I was
Yeah.
like, I guess it's my turn.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll do it. All right. Well, we'll manifest that. And so it is.
And yeah, that's our show this week. Becca,
Yay.
where can people find you on social media if they're so inclined?
Well, they can find me on Instagram at Becca Hobart, on
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, and Spotify, Beck's Gloss,
Mm-hmm.
and TikTok, where y'all go during World War III. And they can also find me swimming in the Ken pool. I'm gonna be the party Barbie all summer long. And Quinn, where can the people keep up with you individually if they're so inclined?
You can find me at Quinn P. Murphy on both Twitter, or no, that was a lie. You can find me at Quinn P. Murphy on both Instagram and TikTok. You can find me on Twitter at Quinn P. Murphy. You can also find Over Intellectuals Anonymous, my newsletter, at quinnpmurphy.substack.com. I got the repost from at Becca Hobart the other day, so I was feeling especially famous.
You better believe it.
I was like, oh my God. I was like,
Whoa,
this one
she
must be kind of
noticed.
good. Wait, at Becca Hobart noticed 6/26/23.
Heart lock and key.
Heart lock and key. But yeah, always a fun time over there. And Becca, where can people have a fun time with us on social media for the podcast if they are so inclined to do so?
Well, they can follow at Manic Jump Scare on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, where we post the podcast at length and also exclusive content over there. They can also email in at manicpixiejumpscare@gmail.com. It's so easy. It's so fun. We love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rough Cuts of Bugging Out and Camp Thruple was my movie.
Camp Thruple, yeah.
Oh, my boyfriend Kit Connor, gay ass. He I mentioned him in the story, and it was like, oh, Kit Connor doesn't accept like messages from people, and I was like, I wasn't even trying to message him first of all.
Stupid.
Second of all,
you're crazy.
Second of all, I have a lucrative film for him, like from an up and coming, soon to be Oscar, Emmy, Tony, Razzie, award winning directress.
Yeah.
Ms. Becca
So it's
Hobart.
a little rude. Yeah, thank you.
He doesn't want to take his loss on it. He being stupid right now.
The offer hasn't come through. I don't know. It's hard to say. We're Quinn and we're Becca. And thank you for listening. Bye, Barbie.
Bye, Barbie. Bye, Oppenheimer.
Bye, Oppenheimer.
Oh, I didn't stop recording. Manic Pixie Jump Scare is hosted by Quinn Murphy
and Becca Hobart. Executive produced by Quinn Murphy and Becca Hobart.
Sound and video editing by Quinn Murphy.
Social media management and highlights by Becca Hobart.
And our theme song was written by Quinn Murphy, Becca Hobart, and Nandita Mahesh.